And as APAC telecom operators navigate the shift from traditional connectivity providers that to digital service enablers, artificial intelligence emerges as a catalyst for reinvention. This panel will explore how AI really unlocks these new revenue streams ranging from data monetization and enterprise services to ecosystem partnerships. Joining us are KY Lee. He's Vice President Enterprise Products, that at Singtel. And next to KY is Vivek Chadha. He's Senior Vice President, Global Head Cloud, that at Rakuten Symphony. And gentlemen, welcome.
Good to be here.
Well, it's great to see you, Vivek. I've seen you on many occasions. KY, this is the first time we're meeting. So
nice meeting you.
I appreciate your time and your insight. All right, looking forward to the discussion. KY, I want to start with you. There were some mentions in sort of the aforementioned introduction. And again, it's just from a high level, the impact of AI and what everyone's talking about on operators in the APAC region. Just give us setting the stage for us there.
Sure. We believe that AI will definitely shift the way operators, telcos operate our networks traditionally. We've seen the way how cloud adoption changes the way how customers consume networks. We believe AI will do similarly for our customers. And that's why we look at it at different layers. First is the networks for AI layer, infrastructure for AI, and then of course the apps for AI. So these are the three layers we look at it and how AI will transform networking and how our customers consume services from us.
Yeah, Vivek, certainly telco to techco has been sort of that buzz term over the last 2-3 years. AI has a big role in that, really in reinventing the service provider role, if you will. Rakuten Symphony is very much involved in this. Can you kind of walk us through that and where are we on the timeline? And are we on the timeline at a pace that you're comfortable with?
I'll answer the last bit first. So we are comfortable in parts where the industry is with on the journey from telco to techco transformation. But I think as an overall, and you have to appreciate it's a macro level problem. It's not just a Rakuten Symphony driven initiative. I think everything with the squeeze on ARPUs, the budget constraints, the macro level environment, some of the recent geopolitical events, I think that's going to have a little bit of a bearing on how quickly the transformation can happen. And it's also a transformation which isn't free from risk, and it's not going to be the same journey for every telco. But coming back specifically to how we see this, I think, and if I intersect this with the AI question you'd asked, Mr. Lee, a minute ago, I think specifically for APAC, I think what we are at least witnessing is that there is genuine interest and appetite to go forth and do more in terms of, number one, owning the customer experience. So why would you want to do something with AI? Well, it's a buzzword, of course, but it has to have an ROI attached to it.
Sure.
And I think the single biggest sort of headline statement, if I will, for the next 5 years is that it is no longer that telcos will be powered by AI. They will fundamentally reinvent themselves as connectivity providers and experience providers who happen also to have a network and sell connectivity. And in that journey, I think, especially with data sovereignty, the need to have industry-specific LLMs, the need to have contextual insight for the vertical that you're serving. So even for a service provider, what you do with a banking and financial institution is slightly different from what you would do with a company who's managing fleets of vehicles, which is different from oil and gas. So I think the more you start going deep into what AI can do for you to improve that customer stickiness, allow you to have a differentiated customer experience, I think the more you'll start realizing that you've got to own your own AI. And that's actually something which will test the appetite of a lot of operators for two reasons mainly. Infrastructure is no longer the denominator. That was the case till about a year or two ago where everybody's saying access to GPU, access to data, etc. Let's assume there's a level playing field. I know there isn't, but that's actually a bit of a distraction. The two things that will determine how fast and how successfully you can navigate this transformation with an AI undercurrent is how clearly can you own your transformation with AI being at the forefront of that transformation, not as an afterthought. So you can't just say, I'm embedding AI into my business. You've got to rethink how you are actually doing your processes. And the second thing is you can't do it alone. I think the last 2 years or 3 years have proven the speed of evolution in AI is so fast that anybody who tries to go this alone, especially in the service provider context, right, you're going to be facing a very interesting skill deficit, which will be very hard to keep up with. So I think you're headed to this transformation journey at a point in time where there is enough ground movement that proves that the ROI is visible and is going to be visible in terms of owning and differentiating the customer experience. There's low-hanging fruit, so there's operations and there's customer service and support, and AI agents are a network engineer that never sleeps, and it can do things predictively. We've been talking about proactive and predictive for a while, but now we are headed to a time where networks will become adaptive, because your use cases won't stay stagnant over time. They will change, user behavior will change, and you can't go redo your tooling and network all the time. So you've now got to start thinking of network as an adaptive network. So I think all of those factors are coming together.
Interesting. KY, what do you think about what Vivek mentioned about the importance of collaboration with industry in order to not go into this alone for these new AI revenue streams that operators are experiencing now or should be experiencing in soon?
Sure, I fully resonate with what Vivek is saying. I think there are a few things we were looking at. Through AI, telcos will need to evolve and transform our networks in terms of intelligent network management, optimize our operational efficiency, and even find ways to customize or personalize solutions for enterprises. So in that manner, we're looking at how can we do this differently. And the ecosystem is very important to us. And that's why you see us creating ecosystems around 5G. We're using 5G to pull together different ecosystem players in the market, whether it's robotics, whether it's the endpoints, IoT manufacturers. That's allowing us to bring together the whole ecosystem, supporting them in their transformation. And that's why we look at networks for AI, where we use 5G slicing to create differentiation in the market, including deterministic and better latency for apps that needs to go all the way to cloud and SaaS, for example. So that's one way we feel strongly. And together with Vivek, we're trying to see how we can create ecosystem for our customers as well.
KY, is there a reticence on the operator's part now or before or in the near future that if they were to collaborate with OTTs or fintechs or hyperscalers, that they would lose that direct relationship with the customer? Or have you sort of surpassed that at this point?
No, I guess there's something that is ongoing. We feel that for telcos, it's really about partnership with differentiation. Hyperscalers, OTT, or even fintech, they each play their own unique way to serve enterprise customers in their own way. For telcos, our view is we do have our unique value proposition in terms of the decades of trusted relationship with our customers. That's one. Two is the data that we have. So we are looking at ways that we can collaborate with the ecosystem players, whether OTTs or hyperscaler. An example would be the telco APIs that we launched recently. We were collaborating with OTTs, look at how can we use APIs to allow customer data to collaborate with the OTT applications. So that's through authentication or location data to create a very differentiated experience jointly with the OTT apps, Rakuten, including that to make it more secure, improve the customer experience so that customers feel at ease using the apps with the telco data together.
Vivek, digital native platforms and telcos as a collaboration or a competition? And is that just sort of a moot question at this point, or is that still sort of a concern?
I don't think it's a concern. I think it's a reality, has been for many, many years. I think both the camps coexist and will do for a period of time. You have partnerships and collaborations in multiple instances, and it's a symbiotic relationship. One can't coexist with the other. But there's also clear areas of overlap, and that could be construed as competition. But I think I kind of agree with what KY said. I think what telcos bring, and which is offer sort of hidden under the layers of the service pyramid, if you will, is a nature of predictability and assurance and these decades of reliability built into the networks, which is very hard for somebody to build from scratch if they were to attempt to do so today. By no means does that box a telco or a service provider into just a connectivity provider. I think they actually do a lot more than that. I think the evolution will also be in how this is articulated going forward. And I think that's where you'll see some interesting intersect with the OTT players, because there'll be a little bit of a let's say, a share to that articulation from both sides. But I think they will both coexist for a while.
KY, back to you. Telco to Techco, certainly some organizational and cultural shifts that need to happen. We've asked this question before, and we've gotten feedback on the cultural shift and organizational as well. But I feel like there's not enough, at least from our perspective, not enough time and importance on the cultural part and how integral that is in order to make this shift to Techco. Can you maybe elaborate on that a little bit, or maybe a personal experience from Singtel's point of view?
Sure. I guess the top three will be quite basic. Leadership and vision is important for us. Our leaders will need to communicate clearly to the whole rank and file to make sure that everybody's aware of the need to transform using AI. That's one. The collaboration across teams needs to be very critical to the success of AI adoption. Removing the silos, letting everybody understand the importance of AI, the relevance of AI in the future. I think that's key. Third, I feel, is the agility and the digital first thinking. That's important culture to build so that we know how to experiment with AI. How do you fail fast and pivot when things are not working? How do you charge forward and double down when things are working? For Singtel, I think the other thing we did was about training for our staff, including from the working level all the way to management, about the importance of AI, the education, and also the digital first thinking. From a user to adoption and to practitioner, we segregate into different categories of usage and user profile. I think that's important to provide clarity. I think last but not least, we also put in place the AI governance and controls tightly in the organization so that we make sure the data is secure and also make sure whatever we do is transparent and clear to everyone the practices of AI when we use that.
Vivek, and again, I've asked you this question before, these organizational and cultural shifts as we move towards AI technologies, really to shift from a telco to a techco. Again, what is the progress on that since the last time? Let's say I asked you this question last year. Is there a progress year over year on this?
I can definitely speak to that as far as Rakuten Symphony is concerned. I also have a little bit of insight into a bit of the Rakuten group, but Rakuten Symphony specifically is seeing very significant uptake of AI across every function of the business. And I say this across sales, marketing, procurement, delivery, operations. My teams, for example, are measured and tasked every quarter on adoption of AI into their day-to-day jobs. We actually have to do an organizational survey every quarter, which is driven top-down from Rakuten Group, where every business of Rakuten actually has to rate in every team and every function the different ways in which they're using AI, and to the percentage it's actually impacting and influencing productivity, etc. So I think we are now at a stage where just within my team, I think on a given day, there's at least a 30% intersect with AI on a day-to-day basis. And this could be for things like proofreading documents or even challenging certain arguments that we might have before we go and present either internally or externally. And it's actually turning out to be quite interesting because I think a lot of it is, and by the way, we don't use public AI for that. We have a private Rakuten AI LLM. For obvious reasons, there is quite a bit of data that is very specific to Rakuten and what we do. So we use our private repository for that. And actually we're seeing that there were things that the teams were doing, not just my team, but other functions that they were doing, let's say 7 or 8 months ago, where they've seen as much as like 70% reduction in keystroke because they're getting to that same outcome with 1/3 of the effort. The 1/3 of the effort is for review, refinement, and you do have hallucinations or erroneous context sometimes. So I think we made significant progress. Just one point on the cultural shift that you were talking about and KY commented on. I think the cultural shift, if you really break that down, what does culture change mean? And generally, why is it a big deal? It's a big deal because one is resistance to change. And the change could be whatever the leadership is conveying down the rank and file about, hey, we think AI is the future and you have to adopt it. One thing that we've found very valuable in helping drive this organizational change was to make AI relevant to everybody's day job, internally first. So then it's no longer a buzzword, it's no longer something that's being shoved down your throat or you got to do it because the boss says so. You start seeing the benefits yourself, and there's this notion of surprise value. So when you see the surprise value come out of it and you go, aha, That's actually quite cool. And that's a lot better than what I would have done in the same span of time. You could still get to the same outcome, but you might have spent 2 days. I think that starts creating a level of acceptability, and that accelerates that organizational cultural change a little bit. So from personal experience, I can certainly vouch for the fact that in Rakuten Symphony, since we've started adopting AI for our own jobs on a day-to-day basis in different forms and factors, it has actually helped create a bit more affinity towards AI. And that is starting to show up now in the conversation and the level of awareness as well. So I just wanted to add that point.
Yeah. KY, so telco to techco, as we move closer to this techco, buzzword or not, are you comfortable with the pace as we're moving towards that?
I think definitely comfortable. I think with AI, you will even accelerate the pace of that. I think what's more important is the mindset shift that we need to all undertake together. Shifting from telco, shifting from a traditional infrastructure networks thinking to something more digital, more agile, and more customer-centric thinking with AI. I think that will accelerate us towards the path of Techco.
Yeah. Well, KY, it was very good meeting you.
Thank you.
With Singtel, we had another one of your colleagues on earlier, so we appreciate your team bringing Singtel to the conversation. And Vivek Chadha with Rakuten Symphony, as always, depending on where we are in the world and which pond we have to cross and who forgets their blazer coming over this way. That could have been me, by the way. They don't know. It was nice having the conversation, and we'll do this sometime again soon, and maybe next time we'll be even closer to the Techco part. So,
Sure. Catch up soon.
Appreciate the time.
Thank you.